What's going on, everyone? Trust the Buzz here. If you're new to the channel, I make Charlotte Hornets content, so if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the youth movement. We finally have seen the youth movement in Charlotte. I mean, if you ask me, a little too late, but I'm just happy it's here. And I kind of just want to talk about some key points, some things that I've noticed, some things that I would like to see. This isn't like an off-season wish list or we're like, oh, this guy should improve on this. That's later. That I promise, those type of videos as soon as the season stops. That's what we're talking about on this channel. So I definitely would do deep dives and stuff like that, but these are kind of, until the season's over, these are some videos to get us through. So I just want to point out some things that I saw that maybe we could take into consideration, kind of get the wheels turning in our brain once we go into GMO. Was that April 10th? I think that's officially when the season's over for us, at least. And then the season randomly starts back up for us. Well, next season starts at the draft lottery. So just these are some key things I just want to talk about the youth movement, and just let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe. I'm gonna really start pushing subscribing, just because I'm only like 200 and something away from 1,000 subscribers. That would mean the world to me. So I'm really going to be pushing subscriber. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the video. So one thing that I've noticed, the number one thing, we can go ahead and get this out of the way, and I mentioned it, and I had a whole video dedicated to this kind of a couple days ago, but not Bryce McGowan, James Booknight still got it. I mean, I know I've said that, you know, it seems like he's a little lost at times. I know I've said that he may not be the player we were hoping he would be, but it looks like he still got it. I mean, he dropped what, 25 and 20, one against what was it, the Mavericks, and then the other one was against the Raptors. James Booknight, I think, still got it. I think he got in a little foul trouble the other night against the Raptors and really couldn't find his rhythm. He wasn't bad. It's just, you know, some small things that comes with not playing, you know, for a long time and not playing often. But I think James Booknight can really find a spot on this team. I think that it's just gonna have to, they're gonna have to give him time. That's literally what it's gonna be. You can't expect this guy, and because it doesn't work for everybody. And my thing with the Mark Williams story, the only bad thing about that is that it worked, if that makes any sense, because the only person I felt like that's worked for is Mark Williams. I feel like that put him in the G League and have him run with these players, and then randomly throw him out there against the Lakers and Boston Celtics and stuff. That didn't work for anybody else. I mean, you have guys like Devontae Graham and stuff like that, but he was kind of coming in as an older guy. But for these younger guys, you just throwing him in the G League and watch them dominate, and then just expecting them to do the same against the Philadelphia 76ers doesn't work. So with Mark Williams in that situation working, I'm afraid that they're going to keep doing it and saying, oh, it's going to work, but it doesn't work for everybody. And I feel like James Booknight personally is a reason that it doesn't. It's an example why it doesn't work. I think for James Booknight, it was a confidence issue, especially this season. So the G League helped with that, but refining his skill, helping him become a better player, helping him become a more cerebral player, I don't think the G League will help him in any way, just because of the fact that I think his skill level is well above that. It's just he's got to maintain on a personality level. Hey, can I keep my confidence high? Hey, when I miss a shot, am I willing to put up the next shot? Am I willing to get into my spots and score? Am I willing to put in the work on defense? It's not that he can't, is he willing to do that? Those are all things where the G League has nothing to do with that. So that's one thing that I would think about with James Booknight is, I know he still got it, but the team really has to give him a chance. And I mean running meaningful minutes. I need him to have a real summer. He didn't get to have one last year. So I would really like for James Booknight to get a real summer this year. Really like to see him work out, you know, get in the summer league and things like that, and just come into next season blazing, because I really feel like he has it. I really feel like they should be playing him now over Svi. And I actually like Svi. I actually want Svi to come back. We can talk about that in another video. But I think that James Booknight needs that more. Svi looks comfortable. Svi looks fine. With his time in Charlotte, it's probably one. I looked today. It's probably his best time of his career. Like, he's shooting career highs. So Svi is perfect. But James Booknight, I think, even though he's played well, you know, these last like 3 games or so, I think that it's just important to keep it going. And by keeping it going, just keep him going out there, and just have him, you know, understand like, hey, this is your role. We need you. Like, that's something they have to point out. But enough of that, because I kind of already have a video on that. So we'll move on to the next. All right, so the next thing that I noticed is JT Thor is getting better. JT Thor is getting a lot better. There was times where I was like, there's no way he should be getting minutes over Kai Jones. And I like JT Thor. I'm a JT Thor truther. I want JT Thor to be successful. Like there are a few players on this team, of course, and then just a few players in this league who they may not be superstars or starters or anything like that, but I always will be rooting for them no matter what happens, whether they lead the team or what. JT Thor is one of them. I think JT Thor can really be a very solid NBA player, one of those guys who has a long career just because he can play winning basketball. But there was times where I was like, man, he can't do anything on offense. And on defense, he just looked shaky. It was just because his knowledge up top, I don't think it had anything to do, like his positioning. I think he just needed to learn, how to position himself, how to, step in front of guys, things like that. But like his physical ability to do so, perfectly fine. But I mean, over these last few games where he's been starting and things like that, I think JT Thor has been exceptional, to be honest. And I think that he can also be someone that can really contribute to this team. And when you think about it, if all of these guys that we have, these young guys, can can play a role off the bench, we could have one of the best benches in the NBA. Now, I don't know what that starting lineup is going to look like, but we can have one of the best benches in the NBA if all these guys really start clicking, which I feel like they can. I really do. Just because of the fact that, like I said, you got JT Thor out here hitting threes. He looks more comfortable on offense. I think he's learning better how to just adjust to different players on defense, and I think his defense is pretty good. I think he could just be a little more physical because, dude, you have all the physical tools. So I think if you brought a little like, I guess it's a more mental thing, but just want to be more physical on defense, to be that real pest on defense, he could really do it. He could really lock up some guys. So I'm very excited to see what JT Thor does going into this offseason. I really like to see him work on his offensive game, but then also at the same time improve his defensive game, because his defensive game is there. That's what's getting him the minutes. But can he stay on the court by being a good offensive player? And at first I didn't think so, but now I think that it's coming around. It is late in the season, but we'll see how we start next year. But I really think JT Thor has a spot on his team, a spot in the NBA, and I feel like his offense is it'll be here in a matter of time. All right, so another thing I've noticed, and like I said, we'll do deep dive later into the offseason, but I think Kai Jones has improved a lot as far as his actual basketball IQ and just how he approaches the game. I don't think he tries to play Superman all the time. I think he actually does kind of go with the flow of the game. He lets the game come to him a little bit more. He does not do well with fouling. He stays in foul trouble. I think he is still a little too unpredictable on the court, but it's come a long way. And considering where he was, hell, even at the beginning, even in the summer league where he did that one play where he got I think we were playing the Timberwolves, he got the ball and then just like lost it trying to play hero ball, and we could have won that game. I think those moments are very valuable to a young player's growth. And I said that in that video, but now it's like in the NBA, I know the season's kind of over, so it's a little different, but I think just him playing in meaningful games and stuff like that is helping him realize that. I still also believe that he has the talent. He's better at the 5, which now causes a conundrum, if you want to say, because we got Nick Richards on a good deal at that. Mark Williams is obviously our starter. Where does that leave Kai Jones, a very athletic 5 who doesn't play like the other two at all? Really can't play the 4. The 4 is not his thing. His best minutes are at the 5. Even Steve Clifford said that. Where does Kai Jones fit into that? I would hope that the Hornets are hoping or looking for either one, you have to consider trading him, and that's something we can talk about in another video, or 2, Nick Richards is the one you're looking to trade. He has an easier deal to trade. I mean, he's a valuable player. You know what he can do. He's locked up for the next 3 years. So if you're a team next year looking to trade him, you can get him for 2 years, and that's on a very good deal. It makes his deal very, very tradable. So I think the Hornets did a good job re-signing him for that kind of money. And then your hope that Kai Jones becomes this like, I almost want to say believable, but that's not a good word. Let me think of a better word. You hope that Kai Jones becomes this serviceable backup center in the time that it takes between now and probably trade deadline next season, maybe even the season after. You would hope that Kai Jones becomes a very serviceable backup, because Nick Richards and Mark Williams are a little bit of the same. Mark Williams obviously has some areas where he has more upside than Nick Richards and vice versa, even though overall Mark Williams is the better player. They're still a little similar. If you add Kai Jones to that and take away Nick Richards, you have a very flexible lineup at the center position. You have a guy in Mark Williams who can really be a defensive anchor. Then you have a guy with Kai Jones. He's not small, but he can play the small ball 5. So imagine you're playing a team, and I always use this example just because it's the easiest team to think of, but imagine you're playing a team like the Warriors, right? They don't really truly have a center. So if you put Mark Williams out there, can he really keep up with all these guys running around, especially if they got Draymond Green at the center? Probably not. However, Kai Jones can do that. And I think that if Kai Jones continues to improve, I think that he can do it. He has all the tools. We've said this time and time again. Kai Jones has all the tools. He really just needs to put it together. That's why next year I would love to see him have real minutes. Real minutes. I don't want to see these G League minutes. I don't want to see these garbage time minutes. I want to see real minutes. I want to see Kai Jones getting minutes in the beginning of the second quarter, end of the first quarter type stuff. I think that's what's going to help him. I don't think that allowing him to play so freely in the G League is going to help him become the player that we need him to become. Because like I said, you're looking at someone who is you need a good backup center, as well as a guy who, let's say if in a playoff where the lineups do get smaller and teams maybe are not running the big centers, especially if they don't have someone like Jokic or Embiid, of course, they're running these smaller guys. You have Kai Jones, who is a bigger guy and extremely athletic, so he can keep up with these quick teams. But that's it. Those are my thoughts. Those are just some things I picked up on. It's just some guys' improvement and things like that. Maybe the title. Maybe I should come up with a better title. I'll workshop that and post it. But anyway, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. What you think of these last few games. I love just seeing the young guys play. I really wish we could have seen them play from the beginning of the season and watch to see where they'll be now. But instead, we're seeing them now. Maybe we'll just be excited to see what they do in Summer League in the beginning of next season. But let me know what you think, just because there is a lot more to think about. There's a lot more to talk about. I mean, like I said, I could talk about Teo Maledon. We could talk about Nick Richards. There's a lot of people we could talk about, but we'll be here all night. So just let me know what you think down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.